So people apparently were asking our buddy Asmon, why aren't you playing WoW? And people shared this with me saying, hey, people are asking him why he's not playing WoW when he plays another game. Isn't it just like how anytime you play another game, people ask why you aren't playing Final Fantasy? It's the same question. Did you quit WoW? Because it's not possible to play more than one game in a day or even in a couple of days. Like if you play a game, then you are married to the game, and then when you stop playing it, you quit. But what does Asma have to say about it?
Play Evoker on stream? Yeah, I will play Evoker eventually. Like, I've just been kind of like...
So he has not been playing WoW at all? What's going on? I haven't really been following it.
out of like a lot of the WoW stuff because it's just like the game has been very stale. Pointless burnout? Yeah, a little bit. It's not that I don't like the game or I don't want to play it. I've just been doing other stuff and it breaks a good thing. It's just like I haven't been like super motivated to play for a number of reasons. It's not like there's not like one thing that's made me like not like the game or something like that. It's just been like a general feeling. If I don't put the first WoW DLC, I'm not going to play. Oh,
okay.
I mean, I think it's probably worth playing, right? I mean, I'm not saying the game's not worth playing or it's not fun. I'm just saying like I'm just not worried about it right now.
I mean, that's normal to feel when it's a game you literally play all the goddamn time. But it's like very difficult for people to cope with when you say that, because it's like if you are expected to be at the maximum hype level all day, every day, forever before the game that you specialize in. And that is not normal. But it's not normal. Even when, like, you're still, you know, you're interested. You still want to play. It's just hard for people to understand that you could want to do other stuff sometimes, too. Just really wild to me. But, I mean, he has to deal with it as well. It's an endless struggle. Like, I don't know anybody that has ever played a game that your interest in it didn't wax and wane over time. Or not even about interest, but like how much you felt like playing it on a day changed from day to day or over time. Like, that's even me. Like, I feel like I have an incredibly single-minded obsession with Final Fantasy 14, and that's extremely true. Still, it's not changed at any point. But even me, yeah, there are periods of time when I just don't feel like playing as much because I can't think of anything I want to do. It's not even that it's not fun. Like he said, yeah, it's not that it's not fun or it's bad. It's just I can't think of anything I want to do right now, so I'm going to do something else. But people, like, that's the most inoffensive, like, uncontroversial statement to make. But people will absolutely take that and run with it. Really. Because I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess, like, people have to make a drama out of everything. And so you can't just, like, I guess on the internet overall, you can't just be a little something. You can't just have, like, a middling feeling about something that's sort of more neutral or like in the middle about anything. That's not allowed. Like, either you don't like it or you fucking love it. Either you're doing it all the time or you're not doing it at all. Like, there's no in between. People really struggle to understand that there are sometimes like spaces in between where maybe you just play a little less. Maybe you're thinking about it a little less. You're doing something else here and there too. You know, it's not always extremes, but it's what people really have almost been programmed to expect in every single aspect of life and conversation on the internet. It is exhausting. You gotta rage, you gotta get the scoop, you gotta blow it way out of proportion. That's why I love 14. I don't feel pressured to play it to keep up like I did with WoW. Yeah, that's the thing with 14 especially. It's very weird. Because 14 is literally a game that plays into that. very much. Like, that's the design philosophy, is to play into allowing you to, you know, go with the flow and the waxing and waning of interest with the content patches and then the lulls between. And there's a whole discussion to be had about that, which I don't want to rehash. I talk about it all the time. But the game does allow you to do that without any issue. There's no pressure. And that's the beauty of it. I love that. But the same people that also say that they love that are like also really upset when you do have a more chill approach from time to time. Also, it's like, oh, FXV is really good because you can take breaks and you don't feel pressured to play all the time. But what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you playing it all the time? Why aren't you playing it right now? Do you hate it? Did you leave? Did you abandon us? Are you a traitor? How could you do this to me? You were the chosen one. Anakin. This is literally how, like, I know a lot of it's memes, but it's literally how people will talk. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I know WoW, I know Asmon gets it too with WoW if he's not playing WoW. I feel like it's always been a thing in the MMO universe where people have loved to announce that they are, maybe they have decided to just completely take a break and wait for the next patch. But there's always been people who are like, I'm quitting right now. And then make a huge scene about it. I'm stopping, I'm leaving. Maybe someday I'll return. But I'm quitting. And then like a couple months later, they're back at it. But, because that was the plan all along, really. That was the plan all along. But we gotta play this game. We gotta play this game with each other. It's such a weird and common psychodrama that we repeat all the time. Part of the way social media works is that it kind of encouraged, heavily encouraged, to make statements like this and to really go for the extreme and overplay the situation and ham it up. That's the nature of entertainment. And now, you know, that's just affected the way that we have conversations about things in a really bizarre way. If you go on YouTube and you try to make a video that's like, and you name it some shit like, hey, I'm not feeling this game right now, but maybe someday I will come back. But right now, I'm not that interested, but I still like it, but not that like, if you try to put some kind of shit like that on the YouTube title, nobody will watch it. Nobody will click on it. YouTube will bury it. Nobody will hear what you have to say at all. But if you write something like, I quit, it's horrible. Like, this has pushed me away. How could they do this? Obviously, people will click it. So, I mean, I feel like there's no way out of it. There's no way out of the way that social media pushes certain kinds of conversations and certain approaches to conversations. But my hope is that, you know, if people do feel the need to have the titles like this and like at least you can get people into the conversation. And then once they're in the door, listening to you, talking to you, then you can have, like, you know, your whole reasoned, normal discussion. But yeah, I think about that pretty often. It's built in a way that indirectly encourages sharing thoughts before really thinking. But I do think, I think that it's not completely hopeless. Like, I think it's okay to sort of play the game to an extent with algorithms to get your content seen. So that way, once people are listening, usually once someone is actually watching and listening and hearing you out, their mind opens for a time and they're willing to hear you out in a more like rational way. But at the same time, you have an issue with like people are almost prepping themselves for outrage. Like they're expecting to be mad. And sometimes people even get mad that I didn't say something crazy enough. Like, I didn't say something that angered them enough. That I was, like, too chill. Local streamer blasts MMO. there's definitely a line between being a little bit more dramatic and just straight up starting shit. Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, true. The latter is only short-term success type thing and will bite you in the ass long-term. Many don't realize this. Yeah, that's completely true. Yeah. And also an ad, you know, of course, people do change over time. Their opinions do change over time. And honestly, you could, in all seriousness and with all authenticity, make a huge, like, emotional statement about why you might have left a game. Because honestly, a lot of times our relationships that we have with games are really emotional. And there's so much feeling and so much time and so much friendships and relationships and so much love and soul that we put into time playing games. At least I do. And so it's understandable that sometimes, like, in a moment of powerful emotion, that you might make some really strong statements. And it's also natural that maybe over time you would soften things up, or your opinions might change, or things might evolve, or whatever. And then if you then try to follow up with, like, additional, like, oh, here's how I feel about this now, and then you try to change your opinion, a lot of times people will turn on you for that as well. So, I mean, there's no winning for losing in a lot of cases.